Hello and welcome to a TechHub training video. Today we're going to be going over Challenge 143, Corporate Audit Preparation, using Pandas and Python to do so. This challenge was originally created and solved using Alteryx, but we're using Pandas and Python here just to show you that there's many different ways to solve the same problem. Just to give you a quick overview, you're acting as the current regional manager at Simple Screen Printing in Orem, Utah, and you're specifically preparing for a corporate audit on sales. And so the challenges that you're going to be solving here is identifying those items that have an old description that needs to be updated with a new description, and then also finding items that weren't sold between the periods of 2010 to 2020. So let me show you how I solved it by pulling up my Python here, and I wrote this just within a Jupyter Notebook file. So you can see here, the first thing I did was imported pandas and OS. The reason I imported OS was to be able to get to my file path to access the Excel file, and we have pandas because that's how you're able to work with tables within Python. Okay, so yeah, you can see here I just got my current working directory, added on the name of the Excel file where all of the data was, and assigned that to this XLS, and then took the information from each of the Excel sheets and put it into its own data frame. So we have the items data frame, replacements, orders, and order details. And down here, I just display that so that you can see what it looks like. So let me just go over these real quick. For the items data frame, we have this column SKU, and that just is the unique identifier for each product, and we have a description of it. This replacements one has the SKUs for each of those that have an old description, and then it has the corresponding new description that we need to replace. The next one is the orders data frame. This has our JT number, which is our order ID, and it has information about that order. So it has the job name, the customer, different information here, and you can see it's fairly long. The next one we have is our order details, and that's going to have our line items in our order IDs. So you can see the JT number here repeats because we have line item 6 and line item 7. And this is where we're going to find which SKUs that we had in our order. And so you can see that we have the SKU column here, we have the quantity that was ordered, and different information about those items. Okay, now that we have our data loaded in, we're able to go and find those descriptions that need to be updated to a new description. So how we're going to do this is we're going to take our items data frame here, and we're going to do a merge or a join with the replacements data frame, and it's going to be a left join, which means that we're going to keep every single row of our items data frame, and anywhere where the SKU record matches on an items data frame, we're going to include the information from the replacements data frame. Once we've done that, we can display it here, and this is what it's going to look like. So you can see we have every single record here, a row here for that items data frame, and then we have the old description and new description when there's a match on a SKU. If there's not a match, then it just has a null value or NaN. Okay, let's see if I'm missing anything here. Okay, so the way that we're actually going to replace those old descriptions with a new description is pretty clever. You take your items data frame, and you're going to take that new description column here, you're going to isolate it, and anywhere where there is a null value, you're going to fill that, and the value you're going to be filling it with is this description value. And so essentially that takes this new description column and keeps any new description in there, and then anywhere where there's not a new description, it just takes the original description. It updates that, and then it's going to take the description column here, and it's going to replace it with that new column that we just created. Once we've done that, we no longer need this old description or new description column, because the description column is updated and has everything that we need. So we can do this items df.drop. After we've done that, we can display it. And so you can see here, we have our updated items list. Okay, now that we've done that, we need to identify which of those items weren't sold between 2010 and 2020. All of our order information is between that period, and so we can go with our orders data frame and we can do a merge onto the orders details data frame. We're going to do an inner merge or join, and that's only going to keep records where there's a match on JT number on both of them. Okay, once we've done that, we can identify the sold SKUs simply because they're in the order details. If they're in the order details, that means that we sold them. So, and then we're just keeping the unique ones so there's no duplicates. Okay, so now we have this array here of sold SKUs. The way that we're going to identify which of those items weren't sold is we're going to take our items data frame that we created up here, and we're going to essentially say wherever the item SKU is not in our list of sold SKUs that we just created here, we're going to filter that. And it's not in because of this tilde sign. This tilde sign basically makes the opposite, whatever your statement is. So wherever the items data frame SKU is not in sold SKUs, we want to keep that. And that'll identify all of our unsold items. Once we have our unsold items identified, then we're going to create a new column, and we're just going to put the value ask manager on every single row so that we know each of these items we need to ask a manager about. Okay, then we can identify our sold items essentially by doing the opposite of what we did here with the unsold items. We're going to take our items data frame and we're going to say if this items data frame SKU is in this list of sold SKUs, we know we want to keep it. Once we've done that, then we can add the column report status and we can say good to say each of these items is good. We don't need to ask a manager about it. And then I've listed them here as just using this display function so you can see all of your items that are good and all of those that we need to ask a manager about. Now we're able to take these two items and concatenate them together and basically just make one big data table or data frame. And once we do that, then we're able to drop any duplicates that there might be between SKUs. And this next step right here essentially takes it and filters it down to only records where the report status is equal to ask manager. Once we've done that, we only have items that say ask manager, and we're able to drop this column report status because we know that every single item in there we need to ask a manager about. And so we don't need this report status column anymore. And I have this display here so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so now that we've done this, we have our data frame. All we need to do is just output it to an Excel file so that we can email it to our manager. And so we simply do that down here by just creating our file path to an Excel file. I just named this one, challenge 143b underscore solution.xlsx. And once we've done that, we use this function here to actually output it to an Excel file. Once we've done that, we can just print that we have this report saved to verify that's been saved. Okay, hopefully this made sense to you. If you have any questions, there is the solution file in the challenge. Feel free to leverage AI, ask questions to understand, and I hope this challenge is fun to you and you're able to learn a lot about pandas and Python. Thank you.